We welcome on Angels outfielder Brett Phillips to the Arm Barn podcast, one of the most fun and energetic players in the entire league. Big smile already. It's the off day for you guys on the Los Angeles Angels. How you doing on your off day?
That's why I'm smiling so big. 17 in 17 straight for the boys. It's been a grind, but we're here in St. Louis enjoying a little off day, getting to talk with you fellas. Appreciate you having me on here. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, 17 straight was a long one for the boys, but a lot of East Coast to West Coast trips. But I think we did well. Got some 15 wins this month. I think the boys are happy about that, and just keep going. Glad to have you on, Brett.
Thank you, Tuck.
Yeah, how's the what are you doing in the off day in St. Louis right now? Obviously, with new interleague play, the Angels don't often get to go to St. Louis and play, but I know you've been around the league. What's your favorite thing to do on an off day in St. Louis?
Yeah, so unfortunately, my wife's not with me right now. So, I like to get out and walk around, still keep the body moving, probably go find a place to eat, hang out, relax. I'm very into just on your off days are sacred, and Tuck can touch on this, but like we said, going 17 in a row, that's a lot for any workday, let alone, a profession where you're exhausting physical activity throughout your day. So I just like to keep it mellow, hang out, chill, get the vibes right so we can come back tomorrow and, get it going.
Is there anything you do like over the course of like 17 game like stretches, like, hey, no off days, like you take a couple like less hacks in the swing or recover more, just try to sleep more? Is there anything you do?
Yeah, for me, it's the same routine each and every single day. I've learned that over the years, that having a solid routine and just staying locked in it through a course of 162, it's super valuable. And that's just what I've been keeping my mind at. Every day is the same, right? Not trying to get too high, not trying to get too low. And I mean, it's for me, it's the only way to go. It's a long season. It's not like we're playing one game a week where it would be a little different. But for me, it's just keeping the same routine, recovery routine, same routine at the field, and just trying to maximize it,
And speaking about routines, the rules have changed in Major League Baseball this season. We have bigger bases, we have new pickoff rules, and you already have 2 steals on the season. And I assume you're adapting to the rules very well, considering your success so far. Can you break down how these new rules impact yourself and kind of other base stealers around the league?
Yeah, I was skeptical about it at first. Obviously, it plays in my favor being a guy that steals bags. It's an advantage. We've got what is it, 3 or 4 inches closer, Tuck? Somewhere
yeah, I think
around
so.
there. And that's huge, especially for a guy like myself who has to bring that each and every night. That's what I contribute to the team. So, for me, I like it. I don't know if other guys like it, but it's an advantage. It's an advantage. And then I think the bigger bases, it's going to protect guys. Guys not getting stepped on, especially with pitchers coming across the field on, PFP or something. It always scares me with pitchers putting their foot on the bag. And I think that extra space we'll see less injuries, hopefully, for guys. So, I know we're adding rules left and right, but we got to hopefully continue to make sure they're appropriate for the game and the integrity of the game.
I agree. Do you notice like the bases being bigger when you're running down to first? Because I remember I would always kind of stutter step before the like old bases when I'd go do PFP. Now I don't feel like I really have to stutter step. I just get there and I realize again how much bigger this base is.
Yeah, and that's good. That's I'm glad to hear that. It's less noise for you to think about, right? For you running over there to cover the bag of you worrying about where you're placing your foot, because that's not what you do. That's not what you know what I'm saying? Like you're not a first baseman. So I know it's a part of your job, but if we can limit the injuries and you guys getting stepped on, For me personally, I don't think twice about it. It's just another bag to step on for me. So no, I don't think about it.
I'm curious too, because you said that, the routine has changed a little bit, but it's not something you put like a ton of thought into. Like, it hasn't changed your game. You're a base stealer, and these things are only helping you. But is there something when you're leading off first, especially because we're learning more about the momentum lead, right? I remember we were talking about it in the Yankees versus Angels series. They are a big proponent of that, of it's one thing when a Lamborghini is set up shop and it's at a stop at a red light. Then there's another thing if you have a Toyota Prius and it's it's rolling across there, and then when it hits the line, that Toyota Prius can actually beat the Lamborghini out the gate because it has that momentum. I'm curious too, with you as one of the better base stealers, using that momentum lead to your advantage with also the new rules, knowing that the guys can't pick you off. Like, do you have a different mindset when you're stealing bases versus the time before the new rules?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that, I did in the past against lefties. I would kind of use my momentum like almost kind of like a walking lead. I have obviously Volpe, that same series, Volpe, right? Tucker, he was the one that was kind of like,
he was very good at it, just like hopping and going.
Very good, very good. And I think that comes from a lot of practice, but at the same time, you're flipping a coin, you're taking a gamble, because if you're getting your momentum off as the pitcher picks off, it's kind of a timing play. So for me, I trust my quick twitch abilities off the line. It's something that I've always done, but again, I'm not opposed to trying the momentum and working with the pitch clock. It's something that it takes practice like anything, and I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't necessarily bought into it yet.
Right. I think Shohei took a bag the other day and he got it like timed up perfectly and was safe by like, didn't even get a throw. It was just so blatantly obvious that he like had it timed up well. But I want to talk about like your swing change a little bit, and just like, how did this become a thing? And then what kind of did you do? Like, what was the decision of like, all right, I'm really going to dedicate to this? And then how did you go about your business about it?
Yeah. So, well, failure, first of all, kind of put me in a position where if I wanted to continue to play this game, that we were going to have to make some big adjustments. And, last year when I was with Tampa, we were playing, y'all. Were you with the Angels last year, Tuck?
Yeah, right. I was up there at the deadline. So we came to y'all at like August or something like that.
Okay, so check this out. Last May, we came in to play the Angels, and I was struggling. I just went like 0 for 9 in Seattle with 9 strikeouts. I just was lost. I was kind of like looking at old swings, trying to imitate what I was before, but at the same time, my mechanics were broken down so bad, and I could feel it physically, right? Like when you're not at your best, but you don't know where the breakdown is. That's kind of what was going on with me. So we were playing the Angels, and Taylor Ward takes Andrew Kittredge deep on a ball like this far inside. And I was like, man, I know this guy's hitting coach. That is impressive. Like, I like his swing. So Trent Woodward is from Liberty Hill. Pause. My wife and I started building a house last January in Liberty Hill, Texas. Bree's from Liberty Hill. I'm from Florida. We have a house in Florida. The agreement was when we got married, when we started thinking about starting a family, we would move to Liberty Hill to be close to her family. So that's kind of some context there. Fast forward through the summer, I don't reach out to Trent Woodward, and still continue just to be the worst player in baseball offensively. The defense was keeping me around. The base running was keeping me around. So fast forward to end of July at the deadline, your boy gets DFA'd first time in his career, and I was rocked. 12 years in, I was like, man, I got I got to do something. So I ended up reaching out to Trent. I call him. He doesn't answer. I haven't talked to Trent in years. He's from California. And I text him, hey, is this still Trent Woodward? He calls me back. He's like, man, I thought you were butt dialing me. I know this is long-winded, but I promise it'll be worth it. So I was like, long story short, I'm struggling. Are you like, I know you work with Taylor Ward. I see your stuff on social media. Where do you live? Like maybe this offseason I can come and work with you. And he's like, my wife and I live in Liberty Hill, Texas. And I'm looking down at the phone and I put it on speaker. My wife's with me. I was like, can you repeat that? And he's like, yeah, my wife and I, we built a house here a few years ago in Liberty Hill, Texas. And I was like, all right, you're my guy. So Bree thought we were going to be in Tampa for another offseason, but I was like, we're going to come see you. You're my guy this offseason. So I ended up going to Baltimore. I went like 2 for 17. I get DFA'd again and get sent back down to AAA. First time in 3 years, I walk into a Jacksonville clubhouse and my ego just gets rocked, right? I've been in the big leagues for a while, and I was like, all right, which direction are we going here? We're going to feel sorry for ourselves, or are we going to put this work in? And so I ended up calling Trent, and he's like, essentially, dude, your swing's all wrong. It's bad. It's all wrong. Like, we have the information now. And he's like, not only is it wrong, I'm going to tell you why it's wrong. I'm going to help you fix it. And man, I tore it up last month of AAA. Had, really good last month. Felt super confident with the swing. I knew there was a lot to do, but it gave me confidence. So it's the third to last game of the season down there in AAA. It's September 26th. The AAA season ends on 28th. I get a call from my agent before the AAA game. He's like, Philly, congrats. Like, Baltimore, they're going to call you back up, probably give you a second shot. They like how you handled your business, yada, yada. Great, thanks. First pitch I swing at that night, I foul a ball off my shin and I break my shin. And so it ended my season. But you know what? It was one of those things that I wasn't worried about. Finished the season strong. So I went into the off season, just put in a lot of work, and I don't know if it's going to work yet, but I'm confident in it because it feels like what I remember back just as a kid growing up, my swing, the natural swing, as over the years, like I said, it's just broken down, but here we are, we're back at it. And so that's how I, there's been a lot of adjustments through that. I don't want to talk about mechanics just because it's a promise I made to myself. I was all about the mechanical side last year. Like, how can I hold this, do that? Like, it wrapped me up mentally. So now it's just one of those things. I need to see results first before I actually talk about what I've done. But again, I feel confident. My mind feels good. I feel, I'm in a good place. So, yeah.
And I just have a question too, because that was a great story, kind of perseverance in a way of like knowing that you needed to make changes, making the right changes. And if it weren't for that shin injury, you'd be up killing the ball right now. And you still are making a big impact for the Angels. I've read up on you because I think that you're one of the great personalities that we have in Major League Baseball. And you look up Brett Phillips fun facts, or you just look up anything about Brett Phillips. There's all these great stories. So I have plenty of questions with that one. But as a Yankee fan, so I've been a Yankee fan ever since I was born, and I remember watching you on the Rays. It seemed like every single year. And one thing that I didn't need to look up and that I remember was after wins, you and Randy Rosarino would have these dance contests. I'm just curious if you're still doing those with the Angels, and what was the story behind those in general?
So when I got traded over to the Rays, there were just some dudes in the locker room that, like Randy, he's awesome. He's a great teammate. He loves to have fun. And we played when we clinched in New York against the Mets in that 2020 COVID season. We were out waiting for the bus, and we just had like the music going. The boys were hanging out, and Randy, started dancing. So it kind of turned into a little dance off. I'm not gonna turn down a dance off whenever it's presented. And then fast forward to the ALDS against the Yankees. It was another thing. We were out on the field and just hanging out. There were no fans because it was COVID year. So boys were smoking cigars and dancing and hanging out. And so, we had a dance off, but that's just who I am, go happy, go lucky. I enjoy life, just there's obviously a level of professionalism. I always tell people there's a line, but at times you got to enjoy yourself. You got to have fun. It's such a small window of opportunity in your life, and I recognize that. So it's just enjoying it, but also being a professional through that as well.
So that made me think of, a lot of movie quotes and just tough guy talk when they say, I don't start the fight, I end it. So you're saying that if there's dance competitions, you're not the one to start one, but you are the one to end it.
Hey, whenever, if there's a little dancing going on and I get pointed at, watch out. I'm going to give you my best.
And you talked about the ALDS with the Tampa Bay Rays. Moving forward to the ALCS, I remember this, very, very clearly. You called yourself, and I think it was in post-game pressers from other players as well, you were the keep it simple guy. Could you talk about that story?
Oh man, I had gotten left off the ALCS roster because we had to play 7 in a row. Rightfully so. We need an extra arm. And so I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and feel sorry for myself. I'm gonna find a way to be a good teammate, bring the energy. And so I would just like draw out stupid things on a whiteboard, like see ball, hit ball, Randy rakes all night, day, year, just having fun, man. It was a COVID year. There were no fans. At that point, it was perspective, right? Like the rest of the world is in lockdown right now, and we are entertaining. We are bringing, joy to people who are indoors. And so that's what I did. That's just who I am. Again, don't even think twice about it. But yeah, it was a keep it simple, stupid coach. That's, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And we had some fun. We really did. It was a good time.
That's awesome. So I think another time you might have had some fun and then not had some fun was you're facing your former, or I guess your now current teammate, while you were pitching, and he was batting left-handed. When he walked up to the box, like what was going through your head? I know those games are hard to pitch in general because like your team's getting smoked, and you're like, man, I just need to eat some outs. Just like, please roll over the shortstop. That's all I want right now. And Anthony Rendon walks up to the plate as left-handed hitter. What was going through your mind?
I promise you, I did not even know it was Anthony Rendon. I promise you. I had already gotten taken deep by Mike. Shohei had already hit a double. By that point, Reed was throwing a no-hitter. So I was like, man, I just need to throw the ball over the plate, not get hurt, and let's get out of here. And so when Tony took me deep, I was like, man, I'm getting beat around a little bit. So when he touched home plate and I saw his last name, I was like, that son of a gun just took me deep lefty. That was impressive. It really was super impressive. I mean, yeah, that's God's honest truth. That's how it went.
So
that's hilarious.
That is hilarious. So I've always wanted to ask you this too. So as a pitcher, because you're kind of an outfielder / pitcher these days, who are your top 5 position player pitchers that you've ever seen play Major League Baseball?
Oh man. I mean, guys who have ran it up for fun, mid 90s. I love that. Just like, hey, I got this too, and then just guys who have had fun with it, just lobbing it across the plate or doing, because at the end of the day, it's again, it's 162 games. It's a marathon. Games like that are going to happen. It's one of those things. Hey, we keep this light. We come back tomorrow, and we lock it back in. So in Tampa, when I was presented the opportunity to go out there and pitch, no one said anything. It was just like, hey, you're not even expected to be out there anyway, so just don't get hurt. And that's what I did. And so I think guys who embrace that, knowing like, it happens. I'm going to enjoy it. It's probably some of the most fun I've ever had on a baseball field because there were zero expectations to perform. Yeah. So I was just out there having fun. And the reason I throw how I do is so I don't take 120-mile-per-hour rocket from Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani to the teeth. It's just throw and keep the glove up. No, it looks goofy, but it's fun.
And as a stat nerd, yeah, your ERA might be 16, but your FIP is in the 13s. So you're due for some positive regression, dude. You're you're a positive regression candidate.
Dude, that's funny right there. Yeah, I call it the air cutter. It wasn't cutting that night in Cali, so I just
didn't have the elevation to help it. Yeah,
it didn't have the elevation.
So we'll put you in the top 5. Do you have 4 other names of position players that come to mind?
Oh man, honestly, I don't.
I can give you a couple.
Okay.
Betancourt, right? The catcher for the Rays.
Christian Betancourt throws. Oh, he pitched.
Yeah, he came in and pitched against us last year, and he was throwing like 95. And I'm like,
he pitched in the minors.
Yeah, but he's still not his primary position now. I guess. But still he's coming in off the bench, catching all the time and throwing 95 past Mike Trout. Like, hey, this is still my job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still impressive. It really is.
I saw Eaton for the Royals through the other day. He was throwing pretty hard.
I did see that. He had, 94, 95 with some sink?
Yeah.
It was impressive.
I'll take some of that, please.
Who's the guy last year? Played for the Red Sox. I think he was with Oakland.
Was that Brock Holt?
Brock Holt. Didn't he throw like the slowest pitch ever?
I thought so.
Yeah, he threw like 30-something miles an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a couple years ago. He would just lob it in there and it'd be
Yeah. Also, as a Yankees fan, my team has been struggling, and one of the great box scores that I took a screenshot of was the fact that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa came in a game where I think they gave up like 12 runs, and he was the only pitcher not to give up a run in that game. So they do matter.
And, I tell people, like, baseball, hitting is so hard as it is that you could throw a BP fastball right down the middle and still get swing and miss from all-stars. That's just how tough this game is. So again, it can happen.
So we talked about your energy, and it shines through during this interview. I'm curious, you've played, with a bunch of different teams at this point. Who's been the player that matched your energy the best, and who was the most serious teammate you've ever been with?
Oh man. I mean, for the most part, I've played with a lot of guys who are thankful for, being a Major League Baseball player. They have great perspective and their energy shows it. And most guys that I've played with are those guys. Trying to think serious. Obviously it's personality. It's a personality thing too. You got introverted teammates, extroverted teammates. But I'm going to say a guy who led by example, who was pretty serious, but he was, how he went about his business. You could tell he cared, was Alex Gordon. I really respected Alex as an outfielder, a guy who was, he was, the same guy every day. There was no mixed reviews, but he was, he was serious. He was there to work and he was there to win. And really like that. And then for energy wise, oh man, there's a lot throughout my career. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. There's a lot of them.
Where does your energy and passion stem from? Because I assume playing baseball throughout your entire life, and I remember you coming up even as a young player, like you still had it. Like this isn't a new thing for you. So I'm curious kind of where it began.
No, it's just like I said, just go happy, go lucky. Yeah, obviously I'm strong in my faith. But I'm getting to play major league. I'm getting to play professional baseball for a living, and I think it's perspective. But at the same time, this is just who I am, day in and day out, and I'm it's just who I am.
I think a lot of people like hide it from like the world a little bit because you like Taylor Ward and I went to he was to a elementary school the other day and like had to like speak to some kids. It was awesome. And Taylor's a very like quiet to himself person, but has a great personality once you like get him to open up. And I think like people are just like a little bit too scared to like show their personality sometimes. Versus Brett just loves to be who he is and he's comfortable in his own shoes. And I like to see like Taylor the other day be around those kids. Like he really like opened up and it's like, oh, there he is. Like it's this incredible human being behind us. And like we are just baseball players, but at the end of the day, like we are very happy to and blessed to do what we do. So
Amen, dude. Thank you. And yeah, it's perspective. Again, we're getting to play a game for a living. I don't see any other way. Obviously the stresses and anxieties and failures of this game can knock you down, but it's all about being consistent with who you are on a daily basis. And that's just what I try and do.
Going back to your childhood a little bit, I saw this and I just had to ask, could you tell us about the pickup games when you were younger with Macho Man Randy Savage?
Oh yeah. So Randy lived next door. He moved in probably when I was in sixth, seventh grade. And he loved playing basketball, man. He was out there every single day shooting hoops. And I'd be riding my bike home from school and Randy would be out there and hey, Maverick, he'd call me by my middle name. Let's shoot some hoops. So he'd be out there playing horse, and I never won one game. He crushed me, dude. And I loved it. I just kept going back for some more. He was awesome. Lynn still lives next door to my family, but I got to wash his wife Lynn's car every Wednesday for $40. He would give me Chrysler 300, so I'd wheel my little buggy and cart over with all the all the cleaning supplies. It was a little supplemental income as a kid.
Awesome. I got one more question for you, Brett. What was your welcome to the big league moment?
Oh man, welcome to the probably first homer in Milwaukee. Matt Garza was pitching a gym back in 2017, and I was down in the tunnel and kind of just getting my swings in. I was still new to the National League, the double switches and the pinch hitting, so wasn't really paying attention. Next thing you know, they're yelling my name and I was up to bat. So I run from the tunnel straight to on deck and or not on deck, but straight to the box. And Jeremy Hellickson's pitching. He throws me a curveball for a ball and comes back with a changeup. And I end up going off the railing there for my first homer. Had like a standing ovation, a curtain call. It was like, wow, welcome. This is awesome. This is the show. So that was a pretty cool moment.
That is awesome. I saw so I've one more question and then a bonus question asked by the people at Just Baseball, because I said I'm interviewing Brett Phillips today, one of the most fun players in Major League Baseball, who has a question, and we got one question from them and then one question from me. So when you're on Twitter, on social media, in your bio, you said you're a 4th grade spelling bee finalist. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, I lost on the word miscellaneous, unfortunately. Went to this, I think it was state spelling bee championship in 4th grade. And it was cool. It was a cool experience. They had us all in rooms and they would go around the room and you'd have to stand up just like you see on TV and spell a word. and miscellaneous I spelled it with one L, MISCE. It's supposed to be LLE. Oh, it is it. MISCELLENAOUS. I spelt it with one L, and I was so devastated. I was like, yeah, I wanted to win, right? It's competitive, but it was fun. So I put that out there, with my high school diploma, just to let people know, hey, I was a fourth grade spelling bee finalist. So.
Did you just give it up in the 5th grade? Like, was it over? You were so devastated that you're like,
I was done. I was like, I'm gonna stick to baseball.
All right, last question from me. It's funny. This was the question. Why are you a 2-flap helmet guy?
Dude, so obviously I've got thousands of at-bats in the minor leagues with that 2-flap helmet on. Comfortable. I get called up to the big leagues. That one flap, it would fall off my head. I don't know if you've noticed, but across the league, just the one flap falls off everyone's head. And I was like, man, if I'm gonna be stealing bases and I'm gonna be, do it like, obviously I want to be comfortable. I'm gonna be comfortable. So when I went to Tampa, they were just like, do whatever you want. I was like, I'm gonna put the 2-flap on. So, but they changed the minor league helmet. That one is worse now, and it comes off. So I grew my hair out, and I had put some extra padding in the big league helmet. So it's staying on as of right now. I'm sure it'll fall off, but I'm not wearing that new minor league helmet. Not doing it.
Brett, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the Arm Barn. Good luck the rest of the season. Can't wait to see you swiping more bags and maybe get on the mound. Who knows?
Hey,
Yeah,
hopefully not, because then my department of the team has failed that day.
yeah. I'm done pitching for now.
Appreciate you, my man.
No, I appreciate
Thanks, Brett.
Yep.